again in another Ren's Playtime quarter. Not doing too much play this time, but Ren and I are back. Ren, how you doing?
I'm doing great. Fabulous. Thank you.
And I'm like, I'm talking and the microphone's all the way over there. um, so you hit me up and we were talking, and I think a lot of the topic that you really wanted to bring up, I think is a perfect time because I think a lot of things are just maybe coming to a head or dying
Mm,
as what we've seen the past few years. And I know this is not just in the Black community, but being who we are, we tend to gravitate to a certain thing, certain conversation, certain content creators. And you and I both lamented about the utter lack of realistic discourse when it comes to relationships and how a lot of the spaces, both on the men's and female side, when it comes to these conversations, are very toxic and unhealthy. And I know about you, I never have conversations like this with real people. Like
right.
real women that I know, they aren't talking like this. And if I ever hear somebody that does speak like Sprinkle Sprinkle Lady, I'm probably not friends with her because she's not the type of woman I'd be friends with.
Right.
But so we came from, the pandemic, and we had, I would say, really the whole red pill explosion,
Mm,
I think fueled a lot of like the beginnings in the pandemic. And as someone who consumed a lot of that content at the time, as a man, some people had some good points to say. Some.
mm,
But one of the things that you see over course in time, those that are really grifters, and some of the people that are still very prolific today are grifters. They
right.
speak the same talking points. They find that formula, you stick with it. And I'm like, you're not, if this is about constructive conversation, this is about growth as men and growth in relationships, you're not having conversations like this. And I say the same thing with, we talked about Sprinkle Sprinkle Lady, and I've listened to her, my spouse has listened to her, and we sit there. None of that is about constructive growth in a relationship. In
Mm,
both cases, they really reduce people to their, in many respects, financial utility for one or the other, or physical utility, in this case, sex.
mm.
What is your viewpoint on where we are with this? And we both pretty much agree this toxicity.
My viewpoint is that people need to stop trying to date online and start dating an actual face-to-face person and having conversation with people. I just heard today that statistics shown dating apps are declining. People are not really being successful in these dating apps because people have a high expectation sometimes with these people because they just dating app you literally just looking at what you are seeing, what the person say on their bio or what the person is looking like. That person can be completely opposite to when you actually meet the person. I've been on a few dating apps in the past, and when I meet the person in person, they totally the opposite of what they said on their dating app. I had a man who literally say, "I'm looking to date for a wife," and then when you meet him in person, I just want to fuck. So it's like, so you lying online, and people need to understand. Yes, some of these people and podcasters are just making it up as they go along because it's going to get your attention. That's the key. They know that if a man says I'm 6 foot tall, making six figures, got a six pack, I like to eat healthy, I like to exercise, I work at a 401k company, and this, that, and the third. More woman is wanting to gravitate to that.
Mhm.
And then he picks who he wants to do whatever with, and then you meet the person in person, and most of the time they put on a fake facade and be like, yeah, I'm this, that, and the third. Then after a while, after he even gets what he wants, or he's just tired of playing pretend, he shows you that all that's bullshit lie. So it's like the sprinkle speckle lady, I'm living my soft girl era. Okay, why do you have to announce that to people? It like if you feel like I don't want to lift a finger, I want to be taken care of or whatever that is, find a man who's more of a provider and a protector that you can live that life if that's what you truly want. Now, granted, some of these people want expectations out of it at the end of the day. We getting older. Like I'm just telling people, we are getting older. Okay. I have 50-year-old, 60-year-old men hitting on me. I'm like, if you have your whole life, figure out why are you hitting on somebody way younger than you, 25 plus years younger than you. If you have so much to give and want, why are you looking at somebody younger? For whatever reason and stamina, maybe they just like, oh, you young girls keeping me young. Well, you as young as you feel at the end of the day. Not every young woman wants an older man. It all just depends, but it depends on the person. These conversations that we having, like Kevin Samuels would say, why would a man want a woman with 5 kids and 2 baby daddies? There's a woman married right now with 5 kids and 2 baby daddies. You have to meet a person in person and stop doing this online dating trying to weed out who you think it is and isn't, because people can be totally different when you meet them. You looking at somebody out of 5 minute conversation that you might have had online and then wondering why they different in person, because that's how they are in person. People
Right.
just look at whatever they see and think that's the whole scripture. This is exactly what I want. Then people wondering why people are getting divorced crazy. People are single like crazy because I was telling my friend this. People more in love with the idea of the person than the actual person. You in love with the fantasy, not the reality of it. And that is why dating online is terrible and complicated, because you looking at the fantasy of it and not the reality of it. This person looks good. She posts this or he posts that. That must mean he's the greatest guy in the world. No. Or she's the greatest girl in the world. No. Because when you meet them, only somebody can pretend for so long until it's like, okay, I can take off my layers now. This is who I really am. I'm an asshole. Now you trap because now I got you in love with me. If you smart enough, you can be like, oh, I'm not trapped for nothing. I'm out of here. But a lot of people don't because they even scared of being alone, or they just are in love, fall in love with this person that, oh, maybe he can change, maybe she can change, maybe I can make this person to who I thought the person was, instead of accepting the person for as is. It's like buying a used car and then wondering why things are broken. It's used. Things gonna be broken. You can fix it, but it's still an old model. And it only can be fixed if you have the actual tools to actually fix this person, if the person even wants to be fixed.
Right.
Some people are used to what they used to, and because they get away with it for so long, why should I change for you? Some think that way, but a person that really wants you and care for you is going to change and mold into who you feel like. If that I want you, I want this to work. What is your likes? What is your dislikes? What is your, this is not what I'm accepting, and work on with it. People that's been together for 10, 20, 50 years does not mean they didn't argue every night or half the night. They didn't want to break up, that they didn't deal with financial problems, like they didn't deal with health problems. As older you get, these things happen. Do you love the person though? Do you
Right.
accept the person as it is? That's what you gotta ask. Because not everybody, the richest man can be broke tomorrow. Okay, the beautiful, finest, big booty, big titty bitch can have an accident tomorrow, have her legs cut off, then what you gonna do? Did you fall in love with her or the image? People get
Right.
old. People gonna get old. We all gonna get wrinkles. We all gonna be sick. We can't jump those hoops like we used to. We can't do those things like we used to do. Because at some point, you don't want to do all those things. So you have to really look at a person for, can I spend the rest of my life with this person? And be realistic. The Andrew Tates, the Kevin Samuels, the Sprinkle Sprinkle Girl, they say things that you want to hear, pretty much. Not saying none of them have value points in what they say, but their job is to get the most attention. And what gets the most attention? Something that's going to make you upset and piss you the fuck off. Because you want to debate and argue online to people who really getting paid for you being upset. So are you learning from these people? Are you talking to these people and hearing these people just to listen to these people? Or do you just want to argue? Because some people just want to argue. That doesn't mean some people didn't agree with Andrew Tate. Doesn't mean that people didn't agree with Kevin Samuels. Doesn't mean people didn't agree with Sprinkle Sprinkle Girl. But what is your reality is the question.
You know, that last point you made, I think, is the real crux of everything. Because um, I will say, in many respects, I don't lump Kevin Samuels into the category for everybody else. And I'll get to my point in this.
Mm-hmm.
I watched Kevin Samuels before he became into that and how it evolved into that. And I think I watched every night. One, because it was entertaining, but it offered real conversation. And to the point you made earlier, he never said that you could have be a woman and five kids, two baby daddies, and never get married. He said you ain't marrying that man that's making 200 plus $1,000 a year. Not saying it's not possible. Realistically, that's true. And and that's for everybody. Like you're not going to be some dude working McDonald's and find a supermodel or find some woman who is a high class lawyer and marry her. Like that's just y'all don't run in the same circles, and that's a lot of things he's talking about. Like, where are you going to meet this person? You're not going to. You not saying you saying somebody doesn't qualify sounds harsh, but you know damn well where you are now, your career, things you've done. There are certain people who you don't interact with that are quote unquote above you socially, men and women, and people who you don't interact with who are quote unquote below you socially. Same with me. I'm not going to sit here and try to sugarcoat it and say it's not the case. People just don't run in the same circles based on what they've achieved, where they live, what they do. That's just what it is. I was watching, I saw a clip of Kendra G, and she's involved in all that. And she's adopted a lot of what Kevin used to say now, especially with some of the guests, particularly women, but they're the dudes on there like, are you tripping? Why are you on this show? Why are you asking these questions? But what she said was really fascinating because I forget it was my son and whoever is co-host of TMI podcast, and I saw that, and they were interviewing her, and they asked her, "What is the biggest revelation that you've had since you've been doing Kendra dating?" And she said, and I'm paraphrasing, "With the life I live, I interact with that 1%. What I found and what surprised me was every woman wants that 1% man, and they don't want to settle for anything less. And they don't realize they can't get that 1% man." And that was fascinating. This is a woman saying this. And I think dating apps, first of all, designed to keep you on the app. They ain't designed that for you to find somebody to love. That's how they get their money. But I think the dating apps, I think social media has created a lack of awareness of how the world really works for a lot. I'm not saying all, I'm not saying many, I'm saying a lot based on what we hear when other channels do interviews with women, and we're talking about, I'm not talking about black women, I'm talking about women, period, younger women, and they're like, oh, what salary should your husband make? Oh, he should make 300,000. He should make 500,000. Like every single one of them are talking about these low to mid, high six-figure salaries, and I'm thinking, do
High
you?
expectations of people. That's just what it
But,
is.
but high expectation also, you have no comprehension of how the world works. You have no comprehension of what an average salary is. And I'm sitting here thinking, you are a college educated woman. How do you not have a comprehension of the average salary, even coming out of school? I
Mm.
I I don't understand. Again, I don't know if men have these issues with as far as salary and expectations on what um, they expect a woman to provide. Because I'll say this, and this is from my conversations. My conversations with men, the only thing we've ever really expected was gonna be expected, wanted somebody who can cook. Not saying they doing all the cooking, but can cook. Because with most of us, and regardless of the age, even with some of my younger brothers I talk to, is about the fact that you can cook and you want to cook for me, because that says a whole hell of a lot about how much you care about me. Um, you respect me and honor me in our relationship, and I'll do the same. And the intimate aspects of a relationship. That's all, in my experience, most men really want when it comes to being in a relationship. If they're looking for a relationship, again, once to your point, and I say dating apps are not the cause of it, but they've definitely made the problem worse. You've always had issues with men and women, in your case, since you date men, who present themselves a certain way, and then you find out later that that's not who they are. I think dating
Right.
apps make that worse. Dating apps allow people to hide things a bit better.
Mm.
Before I think that maybe discerning ladies like yourself had an easier time figuring things out, or a much quicker time figuring things out than before the advent of dating apps as we have them now. Because I think there's a big difference between how things functioned 20 years ago, when you had to go
Mm.
online and do the profiles. And we've always had dating services, but there's something about swiping left, swiping right, that instant gratification of seeing something you like and going forward from there. Or I've heard some people talk about the illusion of choice. So you always feel like there's something better. So, oh, he's cute, okay, but I'm gonna swipe right, or swipe left. I don't know. I'm not on dating apps, obviously. Um, Whatever you swipe away, maybe I'll get something better, or maybe the next girl will be better looking. And whether that's conscious, there's still that's still going to be unconsciously there, because there are so many people on these dating apps you could potentially choose from. And much like you said before, that that illusion that people have, that, and I want to say delusion, it's an illusion. It is also um a lack of reality in many respects. Like, that's not the real world. Again,
Well,
we have,
that's why they call dating fishing, because they putting a bait on a stick and throwing out there, seeing who's going to catch it. And that's what some of these dating apps are, which is sad because they're gonna throw the delicious bait that they know is gonna attract something in somebody, and
Mhm,
then they're gonna try to reel in whoever catches it, who they wants to catch. Because even fishermen throw the fish that they don't want back into the ocean
right.
and keep still fishing. So the some of the things you said was interesting with the 1%, and yeah, it's about your surroundings too. Now I've been in different surroundings and situations,
Mhm.
you know, um, and I talk to a lot of people, and they all say this person wants this person wants that. The 1% man do want a woman that is thinner. Um, some don't really care about the money. Some don't really care about your accolades, the college degree, um, do you own property, land, whatever. They mostly care about the image. Most of the 1% men care about the image. Now, that doesn't mean all 1%, because Jeff Bezos, the one who owns Amazon,
Yeah.
he was married to a woman, skinny.
Hmm.
average college degree woman,
Yeah.
broke up with her, got his girlfriend or wife. I don't know if they got married yet. And she's a little plumpier
Yeah,
and she got kids.
but she's Latina, right? Isn't this,
Latino.
I think so. I don't know.
Okay.
Yeah, I thought I saw him with a Latina woman recently. I don't know. I don't keep up with stuff like that. So if I see it, it's like, oh, okay, then it's one in it, one in
Yeah,
here, and then
I
out.
don't know what her race is, but she had kids. She's plumpier and she's around his age or close to his age at least. So, and this man is a multi-billionaire.
Right.
So he wanted, I guess, someone that just be his best friend at the end of the day.
Yeah.
It didn't really care too much about the image because once you get older, because Jeff Bezos is older, he probably been seen a bunch of beautiful women, been all around the world, seen all the things, and he's just like, none of this is really holding me at night,
Right.
keep me warm, really do love me and care about me, and not just care about my things. The older you get, the more your wants and needs is going to change
Yeah.
eventually. You're not going to want the party lifestyle all the damn time. And if you are, to me, you're a bum. Because what you in your
Yes.
50s and
You're
60s
bum.
still partying with these 20. I just came from a party last Friday with all these 20-year-olds. I'm like, I do not belong here. All these young 20-year-olds. I'm like, what am I doing? I could get a bottle. I got some nice lights in my house and play some music. What the hell am I doing here?
Right.
Like
Exactly.
at some age, it just depends. But yes, let me say this to the ladies: 1% men is a reason why they 1%. So you are left with the rest of the 99%. Now, women are going to want to gravitate somebody to 1%, but there's plenty of men who don't have a job, live with their girlfriends or baby moms
Hmm.
or baby mamas, baby daddies, people who don't really have it like that, living with other people, still manage to get dates and be in relationships.
Yep. And
Okay.
you're right. You're absolutely right. And I'm glad you said that because, and again, going back to Kendra G comment, it's that online is what she sees, and all of these people, women specifically, that come on, and all these women of different ages, different, most of them black, but different nationalities have been on there as well, different age brackets, different childbearing statuses. When you have a majority of these women who come on air looking for the same type of man, I'll say this: where's the conversation amongst each other? Where are the checks and balances with like, hey, that's not a realistic sort of thing? Because I have conversations with men, men friend of mine who I've known for half my life, some I've met in the past few years, my age, younger. That aspect of realism, and I'll say this as far as like my friends since college, there is never not a time when we've not checked each other when it comes to who we're dating. Period. And our involvement with women, if that some person isn't right for us, if we aren't doing right, there is never not a point in time when that conversation has not been had. And to your point earlier, I'll say this, and this is as a man who has been married 17 years now, almost in a couple months. What attracted me to my spouse was never about what her degree was in. It wasn't about what she did. It was about her beauty. Yes, I thought she was very beautiful, but internally is what I thought was most beautiful. I loved her drive. I love her vision. I love her passion. Still do to this day. Those are the things that attracted me to her. No man, for the most part, who's looking for a wife is going to care. And again, not to detract, but that's not what you're attracted to. And I'm saying this because I see conversations with women who are successful, and they use that as a description of why they are quality for a man. No man cares about, excuse me, most men are not looking for that as a reason to be attracted to you. They are going to be impressed. They're going to find you capable. I think intelligence is sexy. I think a woman's accomplishment, like, oh, you look like that's amazing. That gives me a lot of respect for you. That does not say, oh, you're going to be a good wife.
Right.
Like none of that says that. Like your degrees, none of that. That's why I always say a man will he will date, and a rich man can date the cashier at Burger King and have a happy life because it's about who she is as a person and how she treats him and what she provides brings to his life. And I think there's both ways. I think that when we have these conversations, I think some of the podcasts or like was tonight's conversation. I've seen some clips of theirs, and I think they have very realistic and honest conversations with amongst themselves as well as with the audience. And they call people out, and I appreciate that. They don't try to sugarcoat it, but where we are, like having these honest conversations, like what do you want? I always say, and I remember I said this to my spouse before we first got together, and I said this anybody who I've been involved with, like seriously, it's just love me, feed me, and the other thing. That's it. That's all I ever need. Like I'm simple. And most men who are looking for a real relationship, I have to specify that because there are some who are just looking for to get as much as they can. Again, I'm not
Right.
saying it's right or wrong, but again, if your motivations are, I want to be in this relationship, I want to have a connection with somebody, I want to, in a sense, grow something to where, if I can't wipe my behind no more, they'll wipe and I don't have to worry about them leaving me in a pool of my own feces,
Right.
then that's all I need from that person. I find it, and again, I'm a bit older, I'm a bit different position in my life. I look at women like yourself, I look at other female friends of mine, male friends of mine, and I talk to y'all, and y'all are nothing like what I see with these people. And again, I'm not just saying it's people your age, because they're people my age and older, women specifically is what I'm talking about, who are on these platforms talking crazy about relationships. Honestly, so it's not just an age thing, but I sit and I'm like, yeah, marriage, there are issues and this and that and this and that, but I sit there and I scratch my head. I said, we ha- we never had these conversations. I never had any of these conversations 20 years ago, my spouse or anybody else who I was ever involved with seriously, long term. These are never conversations we had. We talked about building a life together. We talked about working together, building. We talked about, okay, what you want to do for a job. This career I want to go. It was never oh, you the man, you got to pay for everything. I mean, if things work out that way, that's how it works out. And that's
Right.
wonderful. But there was never an expectation from anybody that I dated of, if we talked marriage, there was oh, my husband need to pay all the bills, or my husband need to do this. No, we talked about what kind of life we want to build together. And I think
And that's
that
a
is,
good point.
yeah,
That's a
that's the
good
key
point.
point
But
that's missing.
let me talk. Let me say this before I let me just say this real quick
Mhm.
because this is a conversation that I had with my best friend, and he just recently got engaged to this woman. Um, and they was going to get married until she was like, you know, I just really want the baby. I don't really want you. So how about you just get me pregnant and give me 100K and I'll take the baby and go off somewhere. Now this is, and I told him not to do it. I told him because she already gave red flags in the beginning, but he wants to do what he want to do because she got a nice body, nice titties, and a nice ass. So I told him don't do it, but he gonna do what he want to do, and it is what it is. So now he's like, dang, it's a good thing I didn't get married to her because she didn't really want me. She wanted my sperm. Y'all been complaining as to why women are the highest level of divorces. I'm gonna tell you why they the highest level of divorces, because y'all only dating some of these women for just your clout, your ego, and nothing more. Y'all marrying these women for those reasons. Y'all not marrying somebody that actually has a connection with you, who you actually can lay there and talk to for hours and days and weeks, that you can really confine to, and all that. Y'all just like, she got this, she got that. That's all I need. No, you need more than that. You really, the thing of saying I want to marry and date my best friend, you really have to do that in order for it to, or at least date and marry somebody that has some of the same type of things that you want out of life. And then you because a person that really loves you deeply is not out there really trying to hurt you and harm you. There's no way that somebody about to come up to me and say, I just want to get you pregnant. And like, cause some men be saying stuff like this. I want to get you pregnant so bad. That's supposed to be a compliment? No, like what? But there was something else that I want to say. Let me think. So yeah, so the things you're saying is what is the foundation of what you
Right.
need. Some of these men complain about these women having college degrees and don't know how to cook, don't really know how to clean, don't know how to do womanly things, as they say, woman housewife things. You know why? Because she spent 10 years trying to get that degree, or 5 years
That's no,
getting.
no, no. That is not an excuse. That is
They
not
live
an
in
excuse.
dorm rooms with a box with like a
No,
microwave as a
I
kitchen. How
I
they
went to
supposed to
I didn't
afford
start
this?
cooking till I was in college. Like
Okay.
earnestly, I watched like my grandparents, my mom. I religiously watched cooking shows as a kid, but I didn't really get like my chance to be on the stove until I was in college, undergrad. So no, 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 no. That is not an excuse. I'm talking about 8 years of undergrad and postgrad. No, that is not an excuse for you not know how. It's not even about cooking for man. It's about basic skills of being able to
But
feed
you said
yourself.
you had people in your life that taught you that.
No, no,
Maybe
no. I
she.
watched. They didn't teach me nothing. I watched. I watched by learning. I
Mhm.
watched by tasting. That's me. And again, I'm different in that regard, but I'm not gonna, I'm sorry, Ren. I'm not gonna let you give anybody an excuse. For instance, and this, I've always thought Beyonce is an attractive woman. I never thought Beyonce was uber attractive. I saw a clip today my man put up about like all these times where she's talking about how she can't cook. And I'm like, ooh, that's not attractive.
Have you ever seen Beyonce cook? I have
No, no,
never
no,
seen
no.
this cook ever.
I'm not saying like I didn't know that. Ignorance is bliss in this case. But I
Yeah.
found that so unattractive in an aspect of like, this is a basic life skill. I know what your career is like. I get it. Especially when she talked about how her mom was such a great cook. I'm like,
Mm.
you really picked nothing up from that? Like nothing?
Only
But
fashion and to look pretty. That's it.
yeah, I got you.
But
But
you see how fit she is. I ain't cooking either.
I
That's
feel
consistent work. That's because where do I got time to cook
I'm
anything?
I look, I understand, but I'm just saying like that little thing, like really. But we're about to run out of time. But I want to ask you this, trying to sum up everything because we've gotten a lot of different points. But really, where do we go from here as far as the conversation? Let me rephrase that. How do you think that we can start to have honest conversations when it comes to dating with each other, not on like again tonight's conversation, I'm talking about you and whomever, to have an honest conversation about what we want. How do you think that you can start that? Not you specifically, but we can start that in general. All these people talk about, oh, it's pool in the dating, it's piss in the dating pool, and all men's one is this, all women's one is that. How do we get to a point where we actually have honest conversation about what you want?
Having the conversation is the key, not texting. I hate it when
Yes.
people text me like this
Yes.
paragraph of how much you love me and how much you want me. Nigga, I don't know you. I don't know you.
Right.
You. But this, let me put it at this. Jokes aside, this is exactly what I told my friend when he was about to marry this girl in the baby
I'm sorry,
situation.
real quick. He's stupid. That's all I gotta say. Okay, great.
He stopped dating for image for one.
Mm-hmm.
That's one key. Yeah, I even like an attractive man, but you have to dig deeper.
Mm-hmm.
Stop dating people for the idea of them and
Right.
start dating people for the actual person,
Right.
them.
Exactly. Exactly.
That's the thing. That's the key. Because people just fall in love with the idea of a person and not the actual person. And
Yes.
that's exactly what I told him. You fell in love with the idea of her and you thought I can fix her. She's going to do this. She's going to do that. Because she said that at the moment. But obviously, that was a lie. And she just told you the truth. I just want the baby. I don't want you. I just want the money. I don't want you. I just like you got big ass and big titties. I don't really want you. It, people keep being in these relationships for selfish, real reasons. And stop dating people just for the idea of these things and the actual things. Then men be complaining when women be taking off their spanks when they get in the fucking house. They be like, why are you taking off your eyelashes? Why are you taking off your wig? Well, this is really me. This is me. This is what I look like in the dark.
That's why as a man, I realized I have like those things are cute and can be very cute. But I've realized like even my spouse, she doesn't has never worn a lot of makeup. She eyelash, none of that stuff. No, no, never done any of that. Um, and I realized every woman I've dated has never really been like heavily into makeup. So I'm like, I never realized about myself until like now since we're having these discussions. But I'm like, I see these things and I'm like, that's cool. That's cute for what it is. But that's not what I'm attracted. I'm like, I want to see you. I want to see you, your natural face. I want to see what you look like. I want to be able to appreciate your beauty and the woman that you are, not the woman that you manufacture. I don't want you to cover up your blemishes. You got mole here, like I don't want you covering none of that up. Because if I'm coming to the table, no pun intended, to meet you, to get to know you, to see where we can go, I need to come to you. I need you to come to me as who you are. So I think that's how we need to start conversations. We dating out here to be dating. You want to find somebody to be with, cool. That's way to communicate. Everybody should have that intention or voice that intention up front. If you're just out here trying to date because you're trying to have some fun, then state that. And that way nobody out here is going to be hurt. At least that's my opinion. So Ren, we're about out of time with this. We gotta do this again. How can everybody find you?
Hey, I'm on Instagram, Slee_Weaver. I appreciate the support. I've been getting a lot of following. I've been getting a lot of feedback, and I love you, Webster. You are amazing. I just want to give you your props because this man is incredible. You definitely got to follow him. You definitely got to listen to all his other videos and stuff. This man is doing incredible and amazing things, and I appreciate this man so much. So I wanted to give you your props.
Thank you, Ren. I appreciate it. All right, you guys. We'll be back another time, maybe in a week or two. Hell, we might do it again and be here next week. Well, it's another episode of Ren's Playtime Corner. Check you guys out. Peace.